So, people of the YouTube world, I'm back to do a recent Vinyl Finds video. This is Sublime Media, I'm Jonas, and you are watching a mixed bag of used records, as always. Mixed bag in the case of being rock, folk, prog, psych, you know the deal, but no jazz this time. And if you like this channel, please subscribe. If you liked the video after you've seen it, I suggest you give the thumbs up, comment, and if you want to support the channel and want even more content that you decide, please follow the link down below to my Ko-Fi page. But before we start, as always, cue music. So I'm actually gonna do it like this. I'm going to show you 3 mind-blowing finds. Then I'm gonna go through the sort of standard, ordinary, really good stuff, and then I'm gonna close this off with sort of 3 really cool items. And I'm gonna finish this off so that the absolute last record is a true grail. Yes, it is a grail. It's a Grail. Okay, so starting off with a UK band, this is a monster of a record that I've been searching for so long, and I actually ended up settling for the French pressing in this case. So it's a vertical swirl, and it has that sort of big swirl that we love, but it doesn't have the original UK inner sleeve, the swirl inner sleeve. So Affinity started in the mid-60s, I think, in the UK, got a bit of a following, released this record that is iconic today. The cover artwork is actually shot by Kef. He was the same guy who shot Black Sabbath's first record cover artwork, and a guy on Instagram actually said that it's rumored to be the same location that they shot the Sabbath. Has some covers. It's a great sort of pop rock, 70s rock record, I should say. It's a little bit proggy, not as much psyche, and just a true grail. Mr. Joy, check that out. And when this is published, if you like these kind of sleeves, there are, if you go back a couple of videos, you can see a video I did with Protected, and there's a coupon for 10% off if you're still interested in getting great sleeves. Continuing on, 1970-73, we have a Swedish classic, again one that I've been hunting for since the dawn of collecting records. It's not a easy one to get, and when you find it, it's often very expensive. And I managed to strike a deal with a guy here in Sweden, so I'm very happy with that. Thank you so much. It's on Harvest, and a lot of the Swedish Harvest records from back in the day is fantastic. Just a record that comes to mind is, I think, Energy, and also Bernt Rosengren's Note from the Underground. Anyway, Pantarei, 1973, this is a heavy rock record. Prog leanings on the night, maybe the last song on the B-side, but there isn't a single bad second on this one. A true masterpiece in my opinion. If you don't know it, check it out. And I mean, the cover artwork is just, I mean, you pay up just for the artwork, don't you? But in this case, the music's even better. So. And the sort of the final one of the 3 insane records that I'm going to start this video off with. This is Out of Focus, 1971. This is a true first press, and I'm going to go back to why it is that in a few seconds. Out of Focus is a jazzy krautrock outfit from Germany, 1960s, early, late, I think middle or late 60s. They released 3 records, if I'm not mistaken, but this is the first one that I have, and also arguably maybe the best one if you ask me. And that doesn't mean that I won't hunt down the other ones, but Yeah. As I said, a little bit jazzy. The production on this is fantastic. Sounds great. And if you want to check one tune out, I urge everyone to check out Blue Sunday Morning on side 2, the first song on side 2. 7-minute bliss. It's been on constant rotation at home and at work. I can't stop listening to the damn song. It's a fantastic song from a fantastic record. I have talked with an Out of Focus expert about the different pressings, because on Discogs you can only find one first press, but that's not really true. If you look at the back side here, there are 3 different versions of this. There is one without a text down here. There is one with a little bit of text, and there is one with a lot of text. So yeah, that's how you recognize sort of the first, the second, and the third edition sort of this record. I also heard that you can see on the Cuckoo logo up here, if it is a very distinct one, it's a first. If it's a little bit sort of, the logo is a little bit faded, it's a later press. So that's how you recognize it. The Cuckoo label has one of the best labels in the biz. I just think it's a fantastic, and I wish I had more of this great label. So yeah, Out of Focus, one of the pillars of the krautrock sort of canon, in my opinion. Okay, so the next one is a reissue from 1987 of this 1970, I think 1970, folk or acid folk English record. So Forest began in 1966, I think, and it took a while to release this, the first one. They also managed to release a second LP called Full Circle, but that's it. They just went out in obscurity, and I think only one of the 4 members of this band continued on with music. A great folk record. This is the kind of UK folk that I love and adore, so check it out. Okay, the next one is Country Joe and the Fish together, and I have to say, I mean, Country Joe and the Fish doesn't need any sort of introduction, does it? But this is the third one, and in my opinion, not the best record of theirs. This is probably going to get passed on to another collector. But moving on to something really cool. A German band called Cathargo. They released one record in I think it was 71 or 72. With an awesome gimmick cover. I have the record, I have the original press, but with a broken gimmick cover. If you know what I mean, if you have a spare cover or a beat copy that you want to sell, just contact me. I would love to have a complete cover of that. So I managed to hunt down the 2 other ones that they released before the 4th one, which was a live record. So this is Cathargo's Second Step. And compared to the very progressive, but still rocky or popish first debut record, this has a little bit more of that sort of jazzy Santana vibe to it, which is fantastic. When they moved on, and I also managed to snag this one, when they moved on to this is more of a well-produced standard rock and roll record. Still good. This is still good. You see this from time to time. If you find a nice copy for a great price, I would urge everyone to get it. But the first debut record and this one is in my opinion the ones to really look for. So in 1965, Mick Softly released his debut record, I think on CBS. I don't think that they went anywhere with that record, because it took 5 years for him to release the second one, which is Sunrise, that came out in 1970. Sunrise is an acid folk masterpiece, period. Like, there's no competition. It's you can't argue about that record. It's a masterpiece. It's a 10. And every sort of record that Mick Softly has released is at least interesting. And he released a handful of them, like 5 or 6 records, something like that, all the way up to late 70s. In 1971, he released this. It's almost like a follow-up to Sunrise. This is called Street Singer, also on CBS. And just as the cover, this sounds just like this. He is doing almost kind of a Dylan thing on this one. So it's a sort of standard singer-songwriter record. If you think that you are going to get a Sunrise experience out of this, you are totally wrong. And I was a little bit disappointed. But after 2-3 listens, this started to grow on me. And it's a good singer-songwriter record. It's not as good as the Sunrise and the debut, but it's still worth checking out, and it's not as expensive either as those two. Okay, this is Cheap Heat, a Canadian band formed in the 60s and released on Epic. This is the first one, and I'm gonna look for the second one. You can get this for like €20, something like that. I don't think you need to pay even that. Mashmakan, I think that is how you pronounce it. And this is standard psych record from that time, maybe a little bit on the West Coast vibe, if you ask me. They were most famous for the song As Years Go By, which is fantastic. The sort of I think it's a mellotron. It's awesome. So a great record that doesn't cost that much, with a fantastic cover artwork. I mean, you can't go wrong with this one. Okay, so you have to bear with me here, because this is a very rare record and I have very little information of it. So I'm going to read a little bit whilst talking about it. But this is The Guild. Now, if anyone knows about this record, please comment. I just want to know if anyone knows about this record, or these people that produced it. It's called Musik, and it's a private pressed folk record from 1980. But it sounds more like 1972-73 in my opinion. What I gathered is that this was the product of 2 siblings. So sister and a brother, who recorded 2 records as The Guild. But if you go back and forward, you can see that they recorded a bunch of records. Now this, I just assume, is rare as hen's teeth. There are 5 for sale on Discogs. There are 39 people that have logged it as it's in their collection, and 45 that wants it. This should have 500 that wants it, and 39 that owns it. This is a must-have, and it's a private pressed acoustic acid folk gem. So if you see this video, hurry up, snag a copy. There are 5 for sale. It's amazing. So I started to look for any sort of information that I could gather of these 2. And I actually found the sister that is called Renee Rediker, and the brother is called Daryl Rediker. I actually found her on Facebook and managed to contact her and just said that I loved her music. We talked a little bit back and forth, and she promised to say hello to her brother. She didn't have any records left, unfortunately, no dead stock or anything like that. But the records are dirt cheap. So if you go down the rabbit hole, try to find any information on this brother and sister. They did records separately and they did records together. They are dirt cheap, like €10, €20 records. I think that this is one of the most expensive, and this is maybe a 25 or €30 record. It's insane, and it's in Canada. So I have or the US, I think US. So I have no I can't get this because it's so expensive with the shipping and everything. And trying to hunt these down in Europe is kind of impossible. So, I mean, if anyone has these for sale, long shot, but give me a call. There's the label there. Fantastic music. The Guild, Musik. if you take any of the records with you from this video, I would say that this is the one. Like really, that's the one. Yeah, Dog Sham and the Sir Douglas Quintet has actually been with me since childhood, because my dad had a CD when maybe I was about 7, 8, 10 years old, because he loved the song Meet Me in Stockholm that they did later on. When I bought the big sort of blues rock collection that I got, this was in there. This is Sir Douglas Quintet's Mandocino. I think it's the second release by them on Smash Records, and they were a Texas band, and I think that they had a huge sort of the only member that stuck was Dog Sham, but don't take my word for it. It's okay. It's like, it's not good. It's not super good. It's okay. It's blues rock with some 70s or late 60s rock leanings, maybe a bit of that Texas country sound. I don't know. Nothing to really write home about. Nothing you have to sort of check out if you're not super interested. But yeah, I think it's a keeper for now, because there are other records down the line. The first one I think is really, really good, and there's records down the line that Doug Sham did that I think is very entertaining. So it's gonna stay in the collection for now. Okay, so I'm gonna try to retell the story of these guys, but there are some information that you can find out on the via links on Discogs. So the New Zealand Trading Company. I found this in a thrift store. I never find stuff like this in thrift stores in my town. My town sucks. This was released on Memphis Records. Yeah, so this is a US band that had New Zealand, I think, connections, some of the members, stuff like that. They went to Memphis, got a record deal from a girl called Natalie Rosenbaum or Rosenberg, I'm reading here, who liked them so much that she decided to do the record company called Memphis Records. They didn't release much, and to be fair, they didn't have much success with the New Zealand Trading Company. Unfortunately, because this is a fantastic record, like really, really good, sort of a blues rock, a little bit of funk, slapped into it with that sort of special Memphis sound that we all love. This is highly recommended. I don't think that it's super hard to get if you're in the States, but in Europe I think it could be pretty hard to find it. And I don't know, finding this in a thrift store in my town is just like, oh. Okay, the next one is a cool one. This was in the big collection that I bought. This is Blood and Pig with A Head Rising Out, 1969. The brain behind this, if I understood correctly, is Mick Abrahams, and he sort of formed this band after he left Jethro Tull. He remained on the Island label. This is a reissue, but it still has that sort of early big Pink Island label. I love that label. This is sort of a standard 70s rock with that blues touch. It's labeled on Discogs as prog rock, but I don't think that I agree about the progginess of it. Yeah, they made 2 records. This is the first one I heard, and definitely a keeper. Okay, the next one is a Vanguard record. I love the Vanguard label. This is Peter Walker, second poem to Carmela, or Gypsies Are Important, 1968 or 69. This is a folk record with that American Indian influenced touch. I read that because this is Peter Walker's second record. I read that the first one is a little bit better, but I think that this is great. I mean, this is also from the sort of the big collection, but it's a keeper. It's one that goes into the collection instead of getting sold. I'm gonna see if I can find the first one, because I really dig this. Okay, so now we're moving in on the big ones. I'm even taking the plastic off. This is Savoy Brown, the first one from 1967. And this is actually a first stereo press, UK stereo press of this. I mean, Savoy Brown is a little bit more expensive here in Sweden, at least. When you look online also, there are some records that goes a little bit cheaper, but the good ones are expensive, hard to get. This is the debut record. Yeah, I honestly didn't think that I would own this, at least the first press, because I've seen it in stores, I've seen it online. It's always been very, very pricey. Savoy Brown felt to me like, okay, I had to sort of stumble upon it to really get the chance to get it, because I'm not paying the prices that they go for. This was in the big collection, and it's a great blues rock record from that sort of late 60s, just fantastic. And of the Savoy Brown records that I have heard, this is probably my favorite up to now. But as you may know, there are more Savoy Brown records to come that I haven't really listened to yet. So we'll see if this sticks as number one. Continuing on, this is also, I mean, shit, this is Gentle Giant before Gentle Giant. This is Simon Dupree and the Big Sound Without Reservations. First UK press, again with the flip back cover. In really nice condition. This is on EMI, but the yellow Parlophone label. I mean, he couldn't have played this many times. It sounds like almost like brand new, and it's amazing. This is garage rock at its best. Very poppy, very radio friendly. It's definitely a product of its time, 1967, but one of the greater ones, in my opinion, of those kind of garage rock records from that time. Amazing that I can add that to the collection. I have had 2 records with the Climax Blues Band. I think those were the early 70s records. Yeah, good. The US pressings of them, I've played them a couple of times. I think I've had them for like 6-10 years, something like that. Now, in the big collection were earlier, and also those one, but the first UK pressings. And I cleaned and played this. I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. This is the Climax Blues Band Plays On, so the second one, 1969, if I'm not mistaken. This is also a little bit rarer, and some records is a little bit rarer, a little bit harder to get for a good price, very expensive. This is one of them, but they deserve it. Like, there are rare records that are so, and there are rare records and expensive records, and it's just like they mind-blowing. So when listening to this record, and I haven't heard the first one, it's also in the collection, I haven't heard it yet, this is the second one, but compared to what came, because Climax Blues Band have released 21 studio records, and I mean, this is brilliant, almost a little bit psychedelic. It's not psychedelic, but it's jammy in a sort of psychedelic 60s kind of way. Don't get me wrong, this is a blues rock record all day long, but it's fantastic from start to finish. Just almost a masterpiece, in my opinion. So yeah, if you haven't heard this, check it out if you're into that sort of 60s, maybe 70s blues rock or heavy blues rock records. I don't think that you will be disappointed, and it's going to be awesome to dig into their first one. Okay, 2 more to go, and I think that the title of the record is definitely Southern Comfort, but the artist in this case, I guess, should be Walter Shaky Horton, but in this case it goes under Walter Shaky Horton, Martin Stone, Jesse Lewis, and Jerome Arnold. So Walter Shaky Horton was a blues sort of, I think that he was a blues icon back in 1970, on the harmonica especially. He came to London, he started to play with bands, and he went into the studio to record this. Martin Stone, I think that it is Martin Stone, that were in Mighty Baby, and one of them have connections to Savoy Brown also and stuff like that. This is a first UK press, or stereo press. As you can see, the blue dot there indicates the stereo press. And this is also a rare record. This is a blues rock record all the way through. It's a good record. It's a good blues rock record. I've definitely heard better records from this time period when it comes to the blues rock, but well played. But then we get to the last song on the second side. I think it's a 12-minute opus of an instrumental jam called Netty Netty, and it has become a psych classic, and I agree, because it is a psychedelic song. The rumor has it that they recorded the record, but Walter Horton had some problems with the booze, so he was too drunk to really record more, and they still had a lot of record to fill out, so they just started to jam, really, and the result is Netty Netty. I don't know if it's true, but it's a kind of a cool story behind it. Check Netty Netty out, if anything. It's a great tune, but the entire record is good. Now, it's a rare one. It costs a pretty penny. I'm really glad that I found it in that sort of great big collection that I bought. And it's also, so here's their London record label. The funny thing is that there's a sticker there that says promo, not for sale, but in Swedish, and I have never seen those stickers on anything else. So I guess that maybe the guy got this as a promo for when he played, when he DJ'd or played radio shows and stuff like that. I have no idea. I've never seen it before, and I don't know if this counts as a promo because of the promo sticker, or if it's just an ordinary sort of first press. Let me know what you think in the comments. That would be awesome. So, Discogs may not be the best sort of source for information when it comes to records, but just bear with me for 2 seconds and you add up yourself. Now, there are rare records, and there are rare records. The July record, you can argue, is a rare record. When it comes to Discogs, and as I said, don't take my word for it, there are 100 added to their collection. Now, anyone can push that button, so it's not the sort of the proof and the truth. But the next record I'm going to show you is, and I have had indications of other collectors and big sellers that this is even rarer. It's not as pricey, but it's rarer. And that record is Octopus with Restless Night, 1971. This is a rare record. 70 has this logged on their Discogs, and that doesn't say much. But there are 438 that has it on their want list. So a lot more that wants it than that has it. The median price on this is €450, and the most it has sold for are €900. I know that it goes for around that sum. It's very seldom out for sale. This was also in that collection. So okay, the rarity, we've all done that. I'm super glad that I have it, blah blah blah. How about the music? I mean, the music is what counts, isn't it? At least if it's a keeper or not. And this is such a keeper. This is a 70s rock progressive gem. This sounds like Paul McCartney if he did good music back in 1971. I'm just kidding. He did fantastic music. But this is so much. There's so much Beatlesque sort of sounds on this that is almost unbelievable. It's on the Penny Farting label, and I didn't know that. But the Penny Farting is that sort of bicycle with the big wheel and so on, and it's actually the logo there. I had no idea. It just sounded cool. Penny Farting. In almost unplayed condition, this is as good as it gets when it comes to this copy, and definitely one of the big hitters in my collection now. Highly recommended. Get a reissue of this. There's not a dull moment on this. Everything from the obscurity, the rarity, the cover artwork, I mean everything just adds up, and the music is 10 out of 10. So this is the whole package in my opinion. Octopus, Restless Nights. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the record that I showed. I hope I wasn't too long. I have no idea how long I've been talking. Give this a thumbs up if you haven't done that, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye. So thank you so much for watching the entire video. You are a true hero, and if you want more of these videos, I have 12 years of content somewhere around here, so just push the sort of the video button and you get all the juicy stuff. Have a great day. Bye.